Hey everybody, welcome back. Time to take another journey into another movie review. See what I did there? Yep, Kimmel's Irish Pub, full of puns. Tonight's movie, we're going deep. Running out of a lot of the movies that a lot of people have heard of. I have to wait until they come out before we can see them. I'm watching more movies than they can produce at this point. So we got to find some gems out there, some hidden stuff. We're not always going to get the blockbusters from me. This one's called the Osiris Child, Osiris, Osiris Child, the Osiris Child. I don't know. Science Fiction Volume 1, the Osiris Child. So the only actor I know is Kellen Lutz from the Twilight series. I think I did another movie on him that he was in. I don't remember that being very good, that movie. But who knows with this one. This one's a science fiction one. And it's getting harder to find these movies. Like, I have a couple that I want to watch, and maybe you could help me on the next pick. It's between two, Leatherface and Killing Gunther. Leatherface is like the prequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's got like a 4.7 rating, and then the Killing Gunther has Arnold Schwarzenegger, another below 5 rating for those two. So if you watch this review and you want to see either one of those next, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to do it. If not, my choice and you're stuck with it. But about this movie is an interplanetary sci-fi movie, colonization, things like that, and it seems like there is something that's going to plague, or a disaster that's going to happen to the place or the planet that a dad and a daughter live, or something like that. I think the dad's in jail with Kellen Lutz. He gets him to help him to go find the daughter so that they could save her through this disaster or whatever is going to happen. You know, I don't ever know the full synopsis, and not always are the synopsis right. So with that being said, I'm going to start watching it, and I'll let you know what the true plot of the movie is on my first check-in. But before I do that, I will let you know that Rotten Tomatoes critics have it at a 65% fresh. However, the users have it at a 46%. They didn't like it too much. And IMDb has it at a 5.7. So you can see how I'm really going deep to find something to watch and to review for you. But I'll get into it right now, and I'll check back in, tell you a little bit more about the plot and what I'm thinking so far. See you in a bit. Hey everybody, welcome back. We are watching Science Fiction Volume 1, The Osiris Child. I think I'm saying that right. We're at the 1 hour, 7 minute, and 50 second mark. I thought I'd be checking in a little bit sooner, but I am very interested in the movie. The movie's only an hour and 39 minutes long, so there's about 31 minutes left into the movie. Sorry I didn't stop sooner, but I am enjoying it. So the story, as I mentioned, I got a little bit of clarity. So the father of the movie actually works in a military base that hovers above some planet. So they're not on Earth. They came from Earth, but now they're on a different planet. Something happened in the military that he wanted to run away from Earth, essentially, and work for this military. His daughter then lives on the planet. So he comes and visits her like every week or something like that. Stays with, you know, some housemate or something like that. Not the mother. They're separated or divorced or whatever. But that's the difference between the two of them. So he works up there, and Kellen Lutz pretends to be a nurse, but he's not. He's comes out real quick. He's a prisoner in jail and somehow escapes and is on the planet. So the whole plot of the movie is this military organization or governmental organization has been developing some type of soldiers. Now they are like monsters, or more or less, but they take some prisoners and they turn them into these super soldiers or these monsters. And these monsters have broken out of their containment and are they're the mass destruction that's going to be happening to the planet. So the father has to come down to the planet and try and find his daughter and save her, and that's what he's doing now. But it's really interesting. It's well made, I think, in the fact, or it's well told, I should say. It's well told in the fact that they just start you right down the path of everything that I told you, but you don't know all the backstory. And then they flip back and show you a little bit of the Kellen Lutz story and on how, what happens with him, how these monsters are developed, all that kind of stuff comes in, and they go back and forth. They do it in chapters as well, so I guess that's why it's Science Fiction Volume 1. They're breaking it up into different chapters, and each chapter tells a little bit of that story. But it's easy to follow. A lot of times when you do flashbacks, you can't follow the movie. It gets so convoluted. This one doesn't have that problem, which is great. Pretty neat. The prison, the solitary confinement, is a rotating octagon. So they sit in this octagon. It just keeps rolling around. The lights are flashing. Drives people insane. I thought that was interesting. Another thing is the guy talks to Trevek, but it immediately reminded me of like Alexa. So he's talking now, and just like we do to Alexa if you have one. Very similar, so they're playing off that, and then they exchange money by bumping phones. So it's like, okay, I'll give you that money, boom, they bump phones. Like, again, technology that exists today, but this is supposed to be futuristic, and it is pretty neat. They show Earth, and there's floating cars or flying cars, which we don't have yet. But very interesting. So far, so good. I am enjoying the movie. I have a little bit to talk about the main character. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the end, but otherwise I am enjoying it. Like the time flew by. I didn't know how far along we were in the movie, didn't realize there's only 30 minutes left, but I'm going to get back to watching it. I don't want to make these reviews too long because I think I lose people, so stay with me. I'll check in with the credits, give you my final analysis and rating and all that stuff. So thanks for sticking so far. Stay with me. Hey everybody, we're at the credits now, and it really was a great movie. It was a good find here. Some small criticisms, real quick. I struggled with how I was going to close this out. One real criticism, not a big deal. They're traveling to the capital to find a daughter, and Kellen Lentz's character says how much longer. He's like a couple of hours, and it seems as though like they go dark, like as he's going to fall asleep. And I thought maybe he was dreaming, but they wake up right in the action of fighting the monsters and everything like that. So it was just that was a little strange transition there that I thought they could have done a better job with that. As I had mentioned, the father figure, the actor or the character of the father. My problems with him was he seemed a little weak. He's supposed to be a military guy, and now a pilot, and I thought there's an altercation, or there's an opportunity for an altercation, and he seems cowardly in it, or meek in a sense. So I was a little disappointed in that. I thought maybe they could build him up a little bit more. When you're going after your daughter, you're going to be tough and rugged, and you don't have to be like a superhero and take on the world. But that was small little criticism. And then the last piece is the absolute ending, not the thing that leads to the ending. Like the dramatic climax, I think it's called. That's fine, and what they did, but the final scene, in a sense, okay. But when you watch the movie, I don't know any other way they could have done it. I was trying to think, okay, if I had to do it all over, the way they led you to that point, there's no other way around it, and the way they led you to that point made the movie for me. I think they did a fabulous job. I love the way they told the story. A lot of people, not so much me, I don't mind flashbacks, as long as you can tell the difference of when you're going back and forth. But they did a great job telling the backstory along with the current story, so that at the end they collided. Not so much collided, they merged. They didn't merge together, but you found out everything at the end of basically two separate stories that are intertwined. Not necessarily needed to make the plot work, but it really was good. I was hoping maybe a little bit more build-up of the relationship between Kellen Wentz's character and the daughter a little bit. Maybe that could have used a little bit more. I sound like I'm overcritical on this film. I'm going to give it a 7. I was on an 8. I really was, and I was thinking to myself, how can I make this movie an 8? 8s are like reserved for my superhero movies and really good stuff, but I really thought it was close to an 8. And very low budget. It's an Australian film, sci-fi, low budget. What they did, forget it. I'm going with an 8. I'm talking myself into it. I'm being overcritical. I thought it was a well done movie, a gem that I think you should watch. You might enjoy, and you never know. There might be like chapter 2 or volume 2 of this movie, and I could see how they could set it up like that. I enjoyed it. I was entranced in the movie for a long time. Forgot it passed on, and then you know, some small little criticisms there, and I think I'm trying to find ways not to give it an 8 rather than just enjoying the movie for what it was. And you know, every movie has some flaws, and these weren't that big, so I think it's an 8. There you go, the official Kimmel's Irish Pub rating. Lock it in. If you want to watch this movie, I think you'll enjoy it. If you like sci-fi kind of stuff, this is right there in low budget. Great movie, good acting, the whole 9 yards. I think, except for, you know, the father figure, whatever. You've heard it all. Don't need to belabor it. It's an 8, and that's it for Kimmel's Irish Pub. Let me know your comments. Thanks for watching this far, and I appreciate it.